perfection of what the entire context is, it's like, oh man, this is so much bigger than me. And that's the beautiful part about it. All right, so let's get back to it. So we're on live right now, YouTube and Facebook. All right, so hopefully we have sound. All right, so let's finish reading. I'm going to pull it up on the screen, on the big screen. If anybody's listening on a conference call, if you would like to, give us a sound check, and then what we can do is while we're on live, we can start a screen share with you. All right. And I'm actually trying to get this done as quick as possible so we can continue and reading on our call. All right, so salute to everybody that's on the call. So if you're on the call, we also have the YouTube and the Facebook up right now on the Torah portion of reading. So we're in the book of Deuteronomy, and we are officially in chapter 8. Deuteronomy chapter 8, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 8, and we read, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye what? Observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh swear unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh the Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. So he doesn't want us to forget that. To what? Humble thee, and to what? Prove thee. Now, I've heard somebody say recently that we live in a world to where it's free will. Well, that's wicked. Free will is wicked. Free will is satanic. We don't live in a world of free will. We don't live in a world of do thy wilt. Do thy wilt is a Anton LaVey phrase. Do thy wilt, do what you will. Why? Because everything's already predestined. I don't agree with that at all whatsoever. If everything was already predestined, then you would not have the option of even making it to the kingdom of the Most High. You wouldn't, because you would be an anatomic spirit. You would be a spirit that's just commanded to do whatever you were told to do. But since that is not the case, the Most High made a creation that would love him back in return. Since that's not the case, we have to remember that the Most High said that he would test us. We have to remember the Most High said he would test us. All right, so we're live right now, Isaiah Yasharala, Facebook and YouTube. Looks like everything is going well. We got a sound up. We got a screen share. All right, we're going to keep it nice and easy. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2, for anybody that's watching that want to read along on the screen. All right. He says what? Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy Elohim, that's what we see right there, the Lord thy God. All right. There was a young brewer I had spoke to earlier, and I was telling him, like, he's like, I only got my King James, young brother from New York, man. I pray he don't get swept away, man. You know what I'm saying? I introduced him to another brother, and I pray that the Most High introduces us all again. So listen right here, right? You see this? All right. Yahweh. This is the word that's right here where it says all, when it's all capitals, capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Look, it's the word Yahweh that's right there, right? It doesn't say. So when y'all hear me reading and I'm saying, it says, it gets to the Lord, and I say, and Yahweh said, it's because of this principle that we know. And the principle is of now how to properly read the Bible in the language it was written in, which is Paleo Hebrew. So when it says Yahweh, Lord, capital Lord, you're going to hear me pronounce that, okay? So let's do this again. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 2. Thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh, thy Elohim, led thee 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou would keepest his commandments or no. So with that being said, here's a very prominent chapter, right? A verse right here that's showing us that we have free will to obey Yahweh or no. You gonna do it or not? You gonna do it or not? No. Yes, we are. If you're not gonna do it, then that's a bad thing, and you're gonna learn the hard way. And I pray you don't. Yeah, Bon. Yeah, Bon. Oh, yeah, Bon. I forgot he only got his thing on right now. He says what? And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh the Elohim led thee 40 years in the wilderness. Well, look at this. Why did he lead us 40 years in the wilderness? To humble us. All right. That's a stiff-necked and hard-headed people. And even to this day, the Most High still be humbling us. I just pray he don't humble us to death. But the Most High, the Most High will humble you. You know what I'm saying? And in that process of humble you, it's supposed to be a breaking process. It just depends on how you take it, right? How you grow in it, right? So he says, in the wilderness to humble thee, and what else? To what? To prove thee. So don't let nobody tell you that, everything is already predestined. We don't believe in predestination. We don't believe in predestination. If that was the case, you wouldn't need Hamashiach Yahushua. You wouldn't need the Savior. Hamashiach is the reason. We don't do predestination. All right. So the Most High came to prove us, right? To know what was in our hearts. He ain't come to prove us to see if our circuit chips was working right. Like I'm just coming down and make sure y'all all doing what I made sure that I was gonna make y'all do. Nah. You put a test before the children, and then you see if the children gonna do it or not. And to prove thee to know what was in thy heart, whether thou would keepeth his commandment or no. And he humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna. Everybody remember that, Khan? Everybody remember the manna? Sarai is up. The manna is the bread that fell from heaven. When the manna is the bread that fell from heaven, it's known as angel's bread. All right. Khan, I know. I need that. So the manna, it fell from heaven, right? It fell from the skies, and we collected it every day. And the scriptures tell us that the manna tasted what every man's liking was. So the Most High tested us. He gave us better food than anything. Well, you know how crazy that is? He gave me bread from heaven that if I wanted to, it could taste like quail. I could have just made it taste like what? I need you. She needs me? What does she need? I need you. Okay, she's still resting? No, in my back. Oh, busted. All right. Well, if she's still laying down, let her rest. Can you give her a cup? Can you give her a cup so she can? Can you give her a cup? Yeah. Come. All right. Yeah, it's not for yummy. Oh, yeah. So with the manna, I could make it taste like whatever I wanted to. I can make it taste like ice cream. I can make it taste like quail. I can make it taste like I can make it taste like anything I want. Go get a different chalice, right? So why not Yashar Allah had done that? Because other nations were provoking us. One, because when you go back and read that, the other nations were, they were complaining and we joined in. But let's see what else the Most High did for us. He said, and humble thee and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might know the truth, that man does not live by bread only, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh, that a man live. I've always held that that verse to some. So I've always held that verse to a specific place, not knowing, how to further. I know it's something okay. So watch this. So it says Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. And humbled thee and suffered thee to hunger and fed thee with manna, which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know. So when the Most High gave us this manna, this is a whole new thing that he's done, right? So I'm just thinking a little bit extra on this, right? That he might make it thee that he might make it thee to know that man does not live off bread alone, right? So he made us know that. So we was complaining about a call about food. We was complaining about the leeks, the onions, the quail, the flesh pot. So Most High says, man don't live out, but every word that proceeded out the mouth. So it wasn't about manna being a food substance. It was about the Most High proving that I can take care of y'all without nothing. And then he fed us with something our forefathers never knew, never heard of. But then he calls it the word. So he fed us with his word. What is that? What is manna? Manna, is that vowels and punctuations and syllables like the Most High speaks, and when he just sprinkles down. I don't know how to explain it. I'm saying I know what manna is in the physical sense to a degree, but what is the substance Yahweh made it of to say that I don't even got to give y'all food? I'll just give y'all something y'all don't even know what it is. It's gonna come down from the sky. You just collect it and eat it. Like what actually, if it says by his word, like that stands out to me. Like it changes kind of the way I want to play around with the thought of that. What else did he do for us? Verse 8, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 4. It's like verse 4. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. So that's pretty fire in itself. To have the same pair of Chucks, like these are my favorite Chucks. I walk everywhere in these Chucks. These my Adidas. I'm old. It's okay. You all don't know that song. I do it. I do it for real. So to have our favorite pair of shoes and they not wax old, neither our feet, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He said neither our foot swell. That's ridiculous. He supernaturally took care of us. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart that as a man chastiseth his son. See, and this is where I'm at right now. Like I'm almost 50. I'm learning this lesson super late. Because I'm like, Yahweh, you love me. People being wrong or doing mean or said this mean or stole this or, you know what I'm saying, mistreated or broke their word or, you know what I'm saying, but just Negroes just straight up damn lying. Excuse me. Just straight up lying. You know, like, yo, Most High. But nah. It's like I forgot that the Most High chastised his son. Right? People said that to me. And I was like, yeah, but this ain't making sense, though. You know what I'm saying? But just here's something for us to always think of. Let's look at this real quick. All right. Let's see. All right. Alahaya. All right. Yasar. Yasara. Yasar. Yasar. Yayasar. So in this verse, it's pronounced Yayasar. So the word itself, like this is an excellent example to show people, like when people say NASA, this is the character that's used. That's the sa, right? But that's not the sha character. That's a whole nother thing. So Yasar. Yasar means to chastise, instruct, correct, hand, put a seal on it, and ra'ash, the head. I don't know. I see that one yet. To correct, talk, bound, punish, reform, chasten, discipline, instruct. Yasar, right? Yasar. Okay. So the Most High Yasar, those where it says Ya Yasar, right? Because Ya means he, Ya Yasar, he chastised, right? So Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thy heart as a man Yayasar, bond as a man Yayasar bond, chastise his son. So Yahweh hath chastised thee. Verse 6. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh the Allahiyah to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahweh thy God bringeth thee to a good land, a land of brooks, of waters, of fountains, and deep and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, the land of wheat and barley and vines and figs and pomegranates, a land of olive oil olive and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Man, don't that sound nice? Well, I need some food stamps right now. I'm eating bread in scarceness. We eating bread nonetheless, Dwadi how, but we eating in scarceness. See? And I'm grateful, man, because the Most I said, times going to come we're not going to have scarceness to where we'll be able to enjoy ourselves, you know what I'm saying, and not have to worry about it. Man, give me some more of that croissant, fluffy croissant Hebrew bread, and not have to worry about it, right? Thou shalt not lack, look at this, anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless Yahweh the Allahiyah for thy good and for the good land which he has given thee. Beware. Now this is a problem, all right? Salak, beware that thou forget not Yahweh the Allahiyah, and look at this, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and statutes, which I command thee this day. Which is why I can't get down with different teachings. Like if anybody's telling you don't have to keep the Shabbat, well, that's a heresy. You speaking heresy. Only one I can see people telling us we don't have to do a sacrifice no more. All right. And yes, there was a time when people did human sacrifices to a large scale The Phoenicians. The Phoenicians are also known as the Philistines. The Philistines are the children of Ham, the Africans. All right. And Yasharallah, we got into it. We started not only sacrificing children, we started eating our own children. And today we eat our children in the form of abortions. All right. So the reality of it is this right here. The reality of it is this right here. The Most High taught us his laws, statutes, and commandments. And then he told us when we go into the land, do not agree with and or do what the other nations do. He says, keep my laws, statutes, commandments. How can somebody blame you for keeping the Bible? They can't get mad at you for you telling them, listen, I'm not a sodomite, I don't participate in that, and I keep the Shabbat day, and I wear my fringes. Can't get mad at you, it's all in the Bible. They ain't get mad at you. Take it to court. Take it to court. I feel a lot of anti-Semitic temperature coming up off of you. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11. Beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy good, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command you this day. So there's a man whose name was here, and I'm going to do this real quick, not too long. Zepho. Z-E. Zepho. All right, look at this. Look at this, everybody. In the Bible, right? Okay, everybody see that? In the Bible, okay? What does it say? In the Bible, Zepho is a minor figure, specifically identified as one of the sons of Eliphaz, who was the son of Esau. He was also listed among the dukes or chiefs of Edom. Zepho is believed to mean watchtower or gaze. I don't know what it means. But I do know this. Zepho was a bad Edomite. Zepho had power in the Lord because Zepho prayed to the Lord, and his Lord gave him power, and he defeated his enemies. And then once Zepho forgot about his enemies, then Zepho became judged by the Most High. So even the Most High allowed a Gentile man to call him a bad Gentile man, to Conan the Barbarian type Gentile man. And he won his wars. After he won his wars, he did the same thing the Most High told us not to do right here. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 11, excuse me. Beware that thou forget not thy good and not keeping. Beware that thou forget not Yahweh, thy Elohim, and not keeping his commandments and his judgments and the statutes which I command thee this day. Because that's what people do. Once they get in good, they all of a sudden forget all the good things that the Most High done. He says, lest when thou art eaten to the full, and thou hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and the silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, that then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh the Elohim, which brought thee forth out of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through the great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth out of the rock of flint. This is so beautiful. I keep finding all these precepts that I want to pull up, or all these pictures and videos and images, but we're not going to do that right now. We're going to try to get through it. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, Yahweh Shah. You did that. Water. Which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might do thee good at thy latter end. And thou saying, heart, my power is in the might of mine hand, has gotten me this wealth. Oh, that's so arrogant to say. Verse 18. Oh, I get money, boy. That's a I get money verse right there. Yeah, verse 18. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy Elohim, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto thy fathers. And it is as it is to this day. Yes. You have to wait. I'm reading. I can't do that. I'm reading right now. Okay. The water. You can get some, but you have to wait. All right. And it shall be, verse 19, and it shall be if thou wilt not, let me read that again. Deuteronomy 8, verse 19. And it shall be if thou do at all forget Yahweh Allahaya, and walk after other gods and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day, ye shall surely perish. As the nations which Yahweh destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient to the voice of the Lord your God. And that's crazy. That's just exactly how our jealousy is. How jealous he is. He wants all of his our affection to be on him and not to give our affection to the other false deities or anything else, because nobody else delivers. Nothing else is real but Yahweh Shai. You have Yahweh, you have the angels that are up under Yahweh, you have Yahweh Shai. And then these powers that are up under Yahweh Shai, these, whether they be evil lying angels or whether they be angels to help, guide you Baba in the morning. Each one of these powers are subsidiaries up under Yahweh Shai. So he don't want us to pretend, to perpetrate, fake the fraud. All right. No other God over Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 1. Shema, Allah, hear, O Israel. See how many times we see that? Thou art passed over Jordan this day to go in to possess the nations that are greater and mightier than thyself. All right. Cities great and fenced up to heaven. That's funny. A brother asked me about the Tower of Babel. I was like, yeah, I don't believe what we have in Dubai is anything new. Dubai is probably very small scale buildings in comparison to old worlds. All right. Verse 2. A people great and tall, the children of the Anakim, who thou knowest. Oh, my bad. Who thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard this day. Who can stand against the children of Anak? All right. Now I can go into my explanation of who I know the children of Anak, the Anakin, the giants are, because I believe in giants. Some people like, I don't believe in big giants. I do. I believe the earth is a sphere. I believe Christ is a Negro. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of thoughts. But what I like to encourage you all to do is read it for yourselves. Go to a book called Chronicon. All right, Isidore of Seville is his name, and he did a book called Chronicon. And he teaches the early old world people. All right, pretty cool. All right, so verse 3. Understand therefore this day that Yahweh the Allahaya is he which goeth over before thee. So he's like, yo, understand the Lord that's going over before ye, right? As a consuming fire, he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face, and thou shalt drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahweh has said unto me. That's got to be a wonderfully loving, frustrating thing. You have Allahaya that's like, come on, y'all, just walk with me. I'm going to whoop everybody, but all y'all got to do is just walk through. And your whole squad scatter. Blah, blah. Not even just the whole squad, the whole nation scattered on him. And the Most High had a path already carved out for us, a path of victory to win, right? But if it was predestination, wouldn't we have taken that path? No, we disobeyed. Understand, let me see, he says, as Yahweh said, quickly bring it down. Understand, therefore, this day that Yahweh, like Allahaya, is he which goeth over before thee. As for the as a consuming fire, he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahweh hath said unto thee. Hallelujah. Speak not within thy heart. After that, Yahweh Allahaya cast them out before thee, saying, for my righteousness, Yahweh hath brought me in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of the nations, Yahweh doth drive them out from before me. That was a beautiful spin. Great job. Hallelujah. All right, come on. All right. Shout. Verse 5. Not for thy righteousness or for the righteousness of thy heart dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, Yahweh Allah has driven them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Abraham. All right. Just making sure. Understand, therefore, we in Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 6. Understand, therefore, that Yahweh the Elohim giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember, that's the word Zakar, and I brought it up. Zakar, that's where our prince's name is Zakaria. That's the word remember. Yahweh says Zakar or Zakaria. Let's look at that quick. Let's look at that. Yeah, Zakar right here. Zakar, all you need is a Y. Yeah. So Zakar. All right. Zakar, understand verse 7. All right. So remember and forget not how you provoke Yahweh Elohim to wrath. And that's pretty crazy. We actually provoked the Most High to wrath. He told the Most High, told Moses, he said, get away from them. I might kill them all of a sudden in an instant. Provoked the Lord, Yahweh, the Allah, to wrath in the wilderness. All right. From the day that thou didst depart from the land of Egypt until ye came into the place ye have been rebellious against Yahweh. Oh man, that's sad. Also, you provoked Yahweh to wrath, so that Yahweh was angry with me to destroy you. Now, that's a cold statement in itself. So, Masha, he says, he asked the Most High to forgive them, forgive us. And then he says, unless your enemies say that you are too weak to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians, you know, you brought them out here to die. I'm just saying, Lord. The Most High got back with Moses about that. Gave an excellent answer, right? So we Most High to wrath, right? And he told Masha, he said, get away from them, that I may destroy thee up in an instant and make a new nation out of you. The Wadi How we shouldn't even be here. Masha, Moses prayed for us. And you got Negroes saying Moses didn't exist to this day. That's weird. Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 9. Then I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of covenant which Yahweh made with you. Then abode in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. And I neither did eat bread nor drink water. This is my Shah, all praise. And Yahweh delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of God. Keep that in mind. So be like the Mosaic, nah, Masha, he didn't do this. The Most High wrote the commandments himself, all right? And on them was written according to all the words which Yahweh spake unto you in the mount, in the midst of the fire of the assembly. And it came to pass that at the end of the 40 days and the 40 nights that Yahweh gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the covenants, or the table of covenant. Ma, I don't want you doing that. La, that's not a good idea. You can flip too far. You can kick that. You can fall. You cut yourself. You're not supposed to be jumping and flipping on my bed. It's the Shabbat day. Stop it now. La, that's not what we doing. Shop. No, I seen you do it a couple times because I can see you right here, but I don't want you doing it. That's not something I want you to do. I'm not okay with it. All right. The water for sitting down. All right. I appreciate you. Verse 20. And Yahweh said unto me, arise, get thee down quickly from hence, for thy people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I command them. They have a molten image. And throughout the early, I was studying this week's Torah portion. I got so much to say, so little time. Man, can't even say I want, but I would love to do more. Let's do more. Verse 16. Furthermore, spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven. And I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked and beheld. And I looked and behold, ye had sinned against Yahweh, your Elohim, and had made a molten calf. Now, real quick with the molten calf, you have a couple different. You have Apis, APIS, and then the other one, the other name escapes me at the time. But the way that this golden calf in Mount Zarim or in Egypt was worshipped was it was given fruit, it was given wine, and sexual molestations would happen. Let's just leave it at that. All right. So when Moses came down, he seen that we was being wicked. Well, the false deity that we was worshiping at the time, that's what their worship was based off of. It's pretty crazy, huh? So he didn't just come down here. It's like, oh yeah, everybody's just woo. No, he's having a disgusting, bad party. All right. You had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahweh had commanded you, and I took the two tables and cast them out of my hands and broke them before your eyes, and I fell down before Yahweh at the first 40 days and 40 nights. Neither did I eat bread nor drink water because of all your sins which ye have sinned, and doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger. That was a long one verse. Verse 19. And I was afraid, for I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure, wherein Yahweh was wroth against you to destroy you. But Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also. And Yahweh was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for him, for Aaron, also the same time. And I took your sins, the calf which ye had made, and to burn with fire, and stamped it and ground it very small, even as small as dust. Even I cast the dust thereto into the brook that descended of the mount. And and verse 22, and at Tabera, and at Massa, and at Kibroth Havata, ye provoked Yahweh to war. Deuteronomy chapter 22 is kind of a tough one. And the reason being is because I always had a little bit of trouble with this word. Now, and Ibardia, here we go. Kibroth Havata. It's you see how long it is, but it's actually because of the compound word, right? Graves of lust. Kibroth Havata. Havata. But let's read the Lashon Kodash. It's Kwa Barawath. Kwa Barawath. And then it's Hafa Awath. Hafa Awath. Now, I usually forget that by the time I get back to it, so I've gotten pretty good with saying Kibroth Havata. All right, so that was a little hard one, but that's what it means. All right, when we provoked him at basically the house of graves, temptations, right? Likewise, Yahweh sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up to possess the land which I have given you. And ye rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh, and ye believed not in him, nor hearkened to his voice. Wow. Yahshua, we did bad. You have been rebellious. You have been rebellious. You have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because Yahweh has said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto Yahweh and said, O Allahaya Adanawa, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness. Thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. That's Yahweh. Remember thy servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor take the wickedness of their sin. Verse 28. Lest the land whence, thou boughtest us out. thou brought us out, say, because Yahweh was not able to bring them to the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, and hath not brought them, and hath brought them out to slavery in the wilderness. Now that's a funny thing. You don't want to say your enemy say that, like Most High, you don't want to say that you couldn't take care of your people. Like Masha, he had to he lightweight finesse the conversation. He lightweight finessed it. You know what I'm saying? Most High, your enemies are gonna say what? That you wasn't able to take care of them, that you brought them out to die in the wilderness. They're gonna try to slander your name, they're gonna try to sully you, right? Yet they are thy people and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest by the house of mighty power. There we go. And by thy stretched out arm. Repeat after me, Kala Shara, the body Yahweh, Naisha, Wanash, all that Yahweh said, what we do and hear. This Torah portion is beautiful. We see a pattern of cause and effects. If you, then I. If you, then I. If you, then I. If you don't, then I. I and I and I. He says it. Boy. Now, I praise the Most High. He's given us redemption chance. All right. So, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he is our redemption. Let's read on. All right. We got this week's Torah portion. We got, hold on. We're going to go through chapter 10. Deuteronomy chapter 10. We're going to start 11. Deuteronomy chapter 10. At that time, Yahweh said unto me, hewn thee 2 tables of stone like at the first, and come up unto me in the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will make the names of the words that were on the first tables, which thou breakest. Thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and sewn 2 tables of stone, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in the hand. What type of a beast of a man did Moses have to be at an old age, waking up in the morning, carrying huge stones, you feel me, making altars? You got Negroes that don't want to get out of bed at 10 a.m. Verse 4. And wrote on the tables, according to the first, the 10 commandments, which Yahweh spake unto you in the mount of the midst. In the midst of fire, in the day of the assembly. The day of Yahweh gave them unto me. Verse 50. Sorry, not verse 50, verse 5. I'm processing while I'm reading. I'm having a good time. I turned myself and came down from the ark, and put the tables in the ark which I had made, and there they be as Yahweh commanded me. So now I want to go back and learn more about. We see right here we have a pill crow, which means the subject matter should be something funny. So there's a pill crow right at verse what's that? Verse 6. Excuse me. All right. And what is the pill crow? The subject matter of the pill crow is let us know when the context or the subject is changing, something like that. It's really cool to be able to use them. All right. So Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 6. And the children of Israel took their journey from Baroth of the children of Jachan to Mosriah. There Aaron died, and there he was buried. And Eleazar, his son, ministered in the priest's office in his stead. And we're in verse 7. From thence they journeyed to Gudgoda, and from Gudgoda to Jabat, the lands of rivers and waters. All right, I know a book to read to verify that. It's a book to read to verify that. You would read Pliny the Elder's Natural History, because he goes over geography, topography. All right. And at the time, Yahweh separated the tribe Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, to stand before Yahweh, to minister unto him, and to bless his name unto what? Unto this day. Wherefore Levi had no part, no inheritance, for Yahweh is his inheritance, according as Yahweh thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount according to the first time 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahweh hearkened unto me at the time also, and Yahweh would not destroy thee. And Yahweh said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. Now go, Yasharallah, what doth Yahweh the Elohim require of thee? Now here's powerful. Everybody, this is my favorite. I got this marked up in my Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 12. Now, what Yasharallah, what doth Yahweh the Elohim, Lord the God, require of thee, but to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, to love him, to serve Yahweh, serve Yahweh thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Whoa. So that's what he requires of us? That's so fire. And now, Yahshua, what does Yahweh require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, and to serve him. That's easy. That's easy. That should be easy. Can we make it easier, y'all? Can we make it easier? My bad. Sorry about that. There we go. All right. So verse 13. To keep the commandments of Yahweh and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heavens is Yahweh's, the earth also, with all that therein is. Only Yahweh had a delight in the fathers, and thy father. That's so beautiful. Only Yahweh had a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you above all the people, as is to this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For Yahweh the Elohim, Ma, Shalom. Can we be heard? All right, Shalom. We're in Deuteronomy chapter 10. All right, we're going to start back at verse, where we at? Verse 16. Verse 16. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. Verse 17. For Yahweh the Elohim is the God of gods, the God of gods, and the Lord of lords, great and mighty and terrible, which regardeth not persons. Nor taketh reward. Verse 18. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and doth the stranger, and loveth the stranger, and giveth him food. This verse, I know, has thrown people off before in the past. Didn't throw me off because it made sense to me. All right, the Most High made the Gentile. He made them. The Most High says, and loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment. I could go and read to y'all where it talks about us actually literally supposed to do that. I know where this precept is in Flavius Josephus. We're supposed to give them fire, water, food, raiment. We're supposed to provide them with things. I don't know who came along and was like, you supposed to hate, you ain't supposed to do that. Yes, we are supposed to be good to them, right? We're supposed to be good to all people. Well, some is up for discretion. All right, but Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 19, love ye therefore the stranger, for the strangers, I apologize, let's do it over. Deuteronomy chapter 10, and we're in verse 19. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land. I was like, for G. So the Most High says, love us the strangers, for we used to be strangers when we were in slavery. Ain't that easy? Thou shalt fear Yahweh the Elohim, thou shalt serve him, and to him and swear it by his house. He is thy praise, and he is thy Elohim, thy God, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thy eyes have seen. Verse 22, thy fathers went down into Mount Zarim, Egypt, with 70 and 10 persons. And now the Lord thy God has made thee out of the stars of heaven for multitude. Hallelujah. 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 Kodash, Kodash, Kodash. Holy, holy, holy. Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy. Kodash, 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 holy, holy, holy is the Lamb. We only have one more chapter of this week's Torah portion. Yes, yes, Sarah. All right. And good job. All right, let's pull this up. So we're gonna be doing. All right. All right. So let's finish it up. We're gonna be doing Deuteronomy chapter 11. All right. Yeah, kind of. No, we're going in a pattern. We're going in a pattern. Thank you for asking. Okay. Here, look. All right. So I'm gonna do this now. Look, let me share the screen. So let me share the screen. So this is just so easy, right? Look, this week's. All right, we're gonna scroll right down here to first. This is one of my favorite. First fruits, because we are those first fruits. All right. So first of all, right here. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 7 through verse 11. Chapter 7, verse 11. Chapter 11, verse 25. But someone might say, "Well, y'all get that off of a website." Well, we also have books. We also have books that have the Torah portion documented in it. We're just showing you this website so you all can learn how to do it yourselves, right? And look for yourselves. Study, show yourselves approved, right? Now watch this. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 1. We're going to read down to verse 20, right? Deuteronomy chapter 1. Chapter 11, verse 20. All right, so let's see the opposite side of everything. Therefore, thou shalt love Yahweh, the Lord thy God, and keep his charge and his statutes and his judgments and his commandments always. Not some ways, always. I really want to go into reading and breaking down, but all right, the Wadi How. And ye, and know ye this day, for I speak not with children. For I speak not with children, your children, which ye have not known. For I speak not with children. Not with your children, which you have not. Okay, all right, my bad. All right. So we're doing it again. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 2. And know ye this day, for I speak not with your children, which ye have not known, right? And which ye have not seen, the chastisement of Yahweh Elohim, his greatness and his mighty hand and his stretched out arm and his miracles and his acts, which he did in the midst of the Egyptian unto Pharaoh. The making of the king, unto Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and unto all the world, and what he did unto the army of Pharaoh, and unto their horses, and to their chariots, how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow them as they pursued after you. And let's see where we at. I lost my little spot. I was scrolling too fast. But in Egypt, the horses, chariots, what he did unto Dathan, what he did unto the wilderness, and came to the place. Let's start back at verse 14. All right, verse 14. And what he did unto the armies of Egypt, unto their horses and their chariots, and how he made the water of the Red Sea to overflow, to overflow them as they pursued after you. And and how Yahweh have destroyed them unto this day. Now I want to go into a teaching about this, but if you want to look up something fun and interesting, please read the historian Josephus's account on the Exodus of the Israelites. And when you get to right here, all right, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 4. When you get to Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 4, and you see some of the stuff that Josephus says the Most High did for us, it was phenomenal, supernatural. It'd be so cool to hear. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 5. And what did he unto you? And what did he unto you in the wilderness until ye came into this place? And what did and remember, and so we're supposed to remember these things, and we're also supposed to remember, my bad, I got lost for a second. And we're also supposed to be remembering what he did unto Dathan and to Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the sons of Rahoban, how the earth opened their mouth and swallowed them up and their house. Now, I'm not trying to seem lackadaisical, I just have a little bit of an issue. I feel like people aren't really up to know or on fire or really care about this right now. Like the Bible shows us literally everything that's happening right now. Why is it talking about Moses? See, why ain't this week's Torah portion talking about something off season, out of beat? Why is there earthquakes all around California, all around the world? You know what's crazy? The same thing. Go and look this up for yourself. There's weird stuff happening all over the world, but the things that are happening in the United States are happening here. All these plagues and crazy stuff. Listen, there's crazy stuff happening all over the world, but the Western world, oh man, the Most High is proving himself. He's breaking America. It's beautiful. It's terrifying because we live here. So to witness, these earthquakes, and just let you know, earthquakes are caused by the effects also of the sun. All right. So to witness these and then to see within the Torah and the Torah portion, the Most High, he reminds us what he did in the time past to show us what he's going to do again. Right. Verse 7. But your eyes have seen all the great acts of Yahweh, which he did. Therefore shall ye keep all the commandments which I command thee this day, that ye may be strong and go in and possess the land, whether ye go to possess it. Verse 9. And that ye may prolong your days in the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers to give unto them and their seed, a land that floweth with milk and honey. For the land whither thou goest in to possess it is not as the land of Egypt, from whence ye came out, where thou sowest thy seed and waterest it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. But the land whither ye go to possess it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of rain of heaven. Don't y'all want to go home, man? Ain't y'all tired of this, man? I had some water the other day. It was gross, nasty. I'm like, why is this supposed to be spring water? And it tastes like somebody already drank it. It tastes like I was drinking somebody else's borrowed spit water. And it's a bottled water. It sucks. It was terrible. Don't you just want fresh water? Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 11. But the land whither you go to possess it is land of valleys, and drinketh the water of the rain of heaven. That means it's a well fertilized, well lush, well flourishing land, right? A land which Yahweh the Elohim careth for. The eyes of Yahweh the Elohim are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even to the end of the year. Well, that's a whole bunch of wisdom in there. And it will come to pass, if ye shall hearken diligently into my commandments, which I command you this day, to love Yahweh your Elohim, to serve him with all your heart and with all your soul, that I will give you the rain in your land in the due season, the first rain and the latter rain, and though thou mayest gather in thy corn and thy wine and thine oil, he says what? I will send grass in thy field for thy cattle, that thou mayest eat and be full. Take heed to your, says it again, like 4 times. The Most High says is pay attention to yourself. So excuse me if I seem distant or cut off or something like that, but when I start seeing, it looks like it's about to be a drive-by, I start to get out the way. When I start seeing stuff get dangerous, I start telling my people, like, hey, what you think about this? Oh yeah, what's your thoughts? For real. And the whole time I'm talking to them, I might be sliding out the door. The Most High says what? Take heed to yourselves. Watch your own souls. Don't think that you don't got nobody's back more than you got your own back. Don't love somebody else's soul more than you love your own. Don't do it. You'll only hurt yourself and others. Be a little bit selfish. Take heed to yourselves, that your heart be not deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. Right now, for those of you who know in the Israelite community, we got our beloved brother Gorilla Hebrew. He's officially trying to be the spokesman of the Hebrew gangster Crips. He changed the cadence and how he talked. Everything is gang banged up. Yeah, cuz, we teaching the children of Israel, cuz. We doing it like this over here, cuz. We on the highways and the byways, cuz. I got exposed for my bedroom antics, cuz. And now I'm a join on to this and go back to what I've been doing, cuz. And it sounds ridiculous because a lot of us grew up in that same era, in that same mentality. A lot of us grew up in the same violence. And the Most High delivered us into the truth. And you don't hear us out here doing that like that. I mean, I understand the man traumatized. He's trying to find his way. He lost his identity. And now he's trying to heal. If y'all seen me do that, you know it can happen to you too. I mean, who am I? I'm nobody. The man Gorilla Hebrew is struggling with an identity crisis right now. So the Most High tells us to watch for our own souls. Take heed unto who? Unto the Torah portion teacher. No. Take heed unto your husband. No. Take heed unto your wife. Nope, not even there. Take heed to yourself, that your own heart be not deceived, and you turn aside and serve other gods and worship them. And then Yahweh's wrath be kindled against you. And he shut up the heaven, and there be no rain. And at the land yield not a fruit, unless you perish quickly from off the good land which Yahweh giveth you. Verse 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these my what? These my words. Yahweh said, put his Torah, these instructions. And we say it all the time, law, statutes, commandments, but people always leave out the word judgments. It's law, statutes, commandments, and judgments. That's not a minute thing. That's a big deal. Therefore, you shall lay up these my words in your where? In your heart and in your soul. Hold that thought real quick. We could politic and teaching, talking, showing stuff. But let's just do this quick. All right. Proverbs. Now, I got to wake her up because she'll be up all night. And I haven't slept. So I need to wake her up so I can get some sleep. Which means I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying, we'll do it. But I feel so bad, man. I talked to an Israelite, KJV, BLB. I talked to an Israelite, like, yo, I need some help with the Benaki on some daughters. And just on some love stuff, some regular stuff. I won't do that again. Person tried to use love as a weapon. And it's like, you know, Yasharala do that. You know people do that. But I was so disgusted. I ain't gonna ask for it. I ain't gonna mention it no more. Because I see how people weaponize it. But most I says, beware of your own. Beware of your own soul. He gives us instructions. And it really does help us. Look at this real quick. Verse 18. Therefore shall ye lay up these my words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign on your hand, that they may be as frontlets between your eyes. So last weekend, Elder Maharka, he just received a frontlet, right? Which Israelites, Yasharal, and we used to wear it, right? It's just like our headbands. I gave him one, and he gave me one back. I gave him an old school elder, like Yasharalian one. He gave me an old school elder, Masharal Yasharal. So, you know what I'm saying? It's beautiful the way our nationality operates, because we did wear these things before we were sold into slavery. Before we came into the Western Hemisphere, the Caribbeans, etc., we wore our culture, right? So we're supposed to have, and can still have, frontlets before our eyes, right? That's to keep you focused. Let's see what the Most High said over here. This is Proverbs chapter 1. Let's scroll down. Oh, matter of fact, not scroll down, scroll up. Proverbs chapter 1, we're going to start at verse 4. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 4. To give liberty to the simple, To a young man, knowledge and discretion. A wise man will hear an increase in learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand a proverb and the interpretation. The words of the wise and the dark sayings, the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And then we go down into the sayings. My son, if sinners entice you, if you see people try to come against you, don't do it. This is the real jewels right here. Look, my son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother. My son, hear the instruction of your father. You might not like the way your father talks, but he's your Abba, he's your father. Hear the instruction of your father, and forsake not what? The law of your mother. You might not like the way your mother talks, but these instructions that she gives you are for your benefit. And look at what the Most High says, verse 9. For they, the instructions and the honor you give for your father and mother, shall be an ornament unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. See? So the Most High, he wants us. He said, therefore, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse, we won't do too much, just enough. Maybe this is what the Most High have to do to shut me down, because y'all know me, I used to give precepts per page, per sentence. Let's go over here, look at that. You know what? All praise the Most High. Therefore, you shall lay up these my words in your heart, like we see in Proverbs chapter 1, right? Verse 9. You shall lay up these words, my words in your heart and your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand. Like those armlets that we wear, those have Torah portions. Some of them they have scriptures on them. You know what I'm saying? They're for warrior, but they also for encouragement. All right. For a sign upon your hand, and to be as frontlets between your eyes. So that's why you see the Jewish people with the wraps that they wrap around there. We actually wore the armlets, and the arms would have the Torah. They wear the headband that has a box right here, and that box was have a small Torah in it. But we actually had headbands that had Torahs going all the way around it. See? So this is our dress code, but it's also our building block foundation of always keeping our law, statutes, commandments with us. If there was an Israelite woman who knew how to sew, who liked to sew, and she would embroider Hebrew characters or things like that on her children's clothes, her children's clothes would go through the roof. I ain't seen nobody doing it. That way our children will be focused on their culture, their nationality, law, statutes, commandments. Make a garment that's got a whole bunch of different fringes on them, right? And each one of the fringes, you know what I'm saying, they represent something different. Make an indicator of colors or something. Teach your children the laws like that. I ain't seen nobody do it. Color-coded fringes. So that this law, let's go back to this, so that this law will be a frontlet between eyes so that we won't forget. Verse 19. He shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in the house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt write them upon the doorpost of thine house and upon thy gates. So real quick on these two, salute, because I've done this. When my children was first growing up in the truth, they didn't have a choice. I taught them the way. I taught all my Eladim the way that I was raised in my household, whether they liked it or not, because I wanted them to have a foundation. So I wanted them to have a foundation in Yahweh, and this verse right here was the one that did it for me. Can't nobody get around this. The Most High tells us how to parent. People say children don't come with an instruction manual. They lying. Children do come with instruction manuals. It's called the Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 19. I apologize. Ye shall teach them to your children, speaking of them when thou what? Sitteth in the house. My opinion used to have this memorized. I'd be like, and where else? I'm like, they look down and be like, walking by the way. Where? When else? And when thou liest down. And when else? When thou riseth up. And I would tell them, I was like, that's how I'm going to teach y'all too. I'm going to teach y'all just like that. When we just chilling in the house doing nothing, quality time. When we just walking by the way, we ain't doing nothing, quality time. Before we get ready to lay down, quality time. And when thou riseth back up, I'm in their face like shalom. Verse 20. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thine house. Salute to Amarashwan, who has helped a lot of Israelites have their mezuzahs, all right, on their doorposts. All right, and I salute you, I'm a Rashwan, for that, because that's an awesome ministry, and people don't know, but I'm gonna say it, man. Let's come over. Dang, I forgot I broke my laptop. I thought the touchscreen was on. So this is it right here. It's called a mezuzah scrolls, and let's pull up a couple images. Now you all may remember, may be a little bit familiar with these, but they're tiny scrolls, and they usually go inside of an encased, something like that, and they go on your door. All right, it's a representation to remind people that you are an Israelite, you're a Hebrew, you keep the Shabbat, you're a Torah keeper. Okay, study that Torah anytime. This is where this commandment comes from, and it's crazy because people are in these. All right, people are selling these. All right, but let's go back to this page real quick. Look at this. Verse 20, and thou shalt write them upon the doorpost of your house on thy gates. That's where people get that from, right? So verse 21, and that your days may be multiplied, and that the days of your children, that your days may be multiplied, and the days of your children in the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers to give them, as the days of heaven upon the earth. Verse 22, this is the last Torah portion verse for the law portion. For if ye shall diligently keep all these commandments which I command you to do them, to love Yahweh to love Yahweh your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him. Let's go and read down. Then Yahweh will drive out all these nations from before ye, and ye shall possess greater nations, mightier than yourselves. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And yeah, you got that right. We read it. I'm going to end it right there. If anybody else would like some more explanation or any expounding on this week's Torah portion, then I'm going to encourage you to. Don't just talk about it, be about it. If you would like to learn some more, study some more, ask some more questions. Okay? Go a little bit deeper into it. You have a charge. You all have an obligation to read the prophet portion. All right. And you also have to read the gospel portion. If you can't read it, you can at least listen to it. The prophet portion is this right here. Matthew is this right here. Somebody say, well, why can't you do it? I'm doing this right now. Shalom. I'll be further listening and edifying myself. And I want to encourage everybody else to do the same. So Isaiah chapter 49, start at verse 14 and read through verse 51. That's only 49, 50, and then you stop in that 51. So you really only two chapters. Then when you get to Matthew chapter 16 is the coldest, because in Matthew chapter 16, Christ is telling us, he says, y'all can discern the coming of the stars, and y'all can understand this. Come on, go ahead. Hold up. Go for it. Hold up. What from? What the hell up? No, this is not a toy to play with. Because I don't want this to get broken. It's not a toy to play with. What the hell up? Shabbat shalom. If you can discern the times of the signs and the redness of the sky, the clouds, how can you do that? But you can't see when I'm coming. So I encourage everybody to continue working harder, watch for the coming of the signs of Christ, and tuck your stuff, man. Tuck your stuff. If it's time to get rid of some stuff, get rid of it. If it's time to fix some stuff, then put it in place. Okay. So this week's Torah portion, the Most High says, because, and then he gives us instructions. And all of those instructions are things that we've already seen within last week's Torah portion. We're just getting a refresher, a reminder of them. And this is a good place to start out. Deuteronomy chapter 7. It's the one where the Most High tells us, don't make no covenants and don't marry the other nations. Don't give your sons to the other nations, and watch out for yourselves. See how easy that is? Because I'm coming. That's pretty dope. I'll be in the YouTube and the Facebook now, attending to the pity them and eating some Sabbath cereal.